So, before I get started, those of you who don't know, Jesse Jackson has recently passed. He has recently passed on today. But Jesse Jackson was an American civil rights activist. He was a politician and he was an ordained Baptist minister. And he is the protege of Martin Luther King Jr. and James Beverly. During the civil rights movement, he became one of the most prolific civil rights leaders of the 20 and early 21st century. From from 1991 to 1997, he served as a shadow delegate and shadow senator for the District of Columbia, which is which is awesome. I mean, it I'm like it's just awesome for a black man to do that. He helped a lot with civil rights, and he helped with the movements, and he was battling that fight alongside Martin Luther King, which is another prolific guy that needs to be talked about. Um, and Jesse Jackson, he commanded a lot. Like Jesse Jackson had a presence about him. He had a presence about him. From what I read, he really did have a presence. It's like, so when you saw him, it was like, oh, we need to shut the fuck up and we need to listen. He really had a presence about him. And then being alongside James Beverly and Martin Luther King Jr., it's like he's somebody that we should listen to. He's somebody that we should listen to. Um, it's sad that he passed, but he has done a lot for Black History Month. What? No, 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 I'm sorry, not for the month. He has done a lot for just Black people in general. He's done a lot, and also just like Martin Luther King Jr. Because from what I read, Jesse Jackson was the day that Martin Luther King Jr. got shot. Jesse Jackson was on the floor below Martin Luther King Jr. And Jesse Jackson was the last person to talk to Martin Luther King after that fateful day, right? And even then even back then he thinks that it, it was, obviously it was not what I mean an inside job, but he didn't think that one person could have just done this without help. Kind of like a conspiracy. And he's right to think that, because I mean, white people don't want to see a black man in power. It's like the same thing that happened to the same thing that happened to Malcolm X. It's like he white people would turn. It be your own people that turn on you. It's like you're trying to do so much good, and white people don't want to see that. So it's like, well, I mean, we can't do anything to him right now, but we can use the people around him to try to bring him down. That's kind of the main ploy. But Jesse Jackson was smart. Now, the one thing I didn't know is that he was a pastor. Well, he was baptized. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And he's also a good friends. I wouldn't say good friends with Al Sharpton. Um, but he really worked with he worked with like organizations too. He worked with the SCLS. He worked with them a lot, and he also worked with another government that I can't seem to find. Not government, but organization. I just can't seem to find what it was called. But he really was like one of those pioneers that was trying to help black people. Oh yeah, Operation Push and Rainbow Coalition. And the push stands for People United to Save Humanity, right? And I would assume that building is the headquarters in Chicago. Kenwood, Chicago should be where it is. I mean, Um, so he was a part of like coalitions to push that, and he was also another part that I didn't know was like he was also nominated for like presidency at least twice, I believe. At least twice his name was on that ballot, and he was a good runner up for I think both of those times. He was a good runner up. And I mean, if that would have happened, he would have been he would have been the first black. You know how it is. You could say first black and put whatever. First black astronaut, first black NASCAR racer, first black whatever. So, but he was nominated. He was nominated. He didn't win, but he was nominated, which is an honor in itself to be nominated like that, and then to get as far as you can, but you just couldn't win because they weren't ready for a black guy to have that much power. You ain't ready for no black guy to have that much power because at 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 Jesse Jackson's rate, if he would have got the power that he needed, he would have stopped all that shit. I would assume, because he was never going to stop. It was like, so okay, so we done this. So now we're working our way to do this, and then after we get done with that, we're just going to keep on going until, we get our desired result that we want, and that we help black people along the way. So he was actually, pretty cool, a pretty cool guy. Knew Martin Luther King, even march with Martin Luther King, um, and so and another thing that I read too is that he wasn't actually the successor to Martin Luther King. It was somebody else. But since Jesse was so prolific, was like so prolific and a profound, like he had that presence about him, people thought that he was the successor to Martin Luther King, but it was actually somebody else. But with him being so prolific, it was like he almost just like took the reins for it, rather than just no, that's somebody else's job. That's not mine. It's like no, I'll take the reins for it. I got this. I got this. Um, but he was, from what I've read and from what I've seen, he deserves to be number 17 of this episode, just from everything that he's done and the legacy he left behind. And it's, really unfortunate that he passed today at, it was 86, I believe. Where is it? Nope, 84. He passed today, 84. And, and that's another thing too. He passed today, and once I seen that he had passed, it was like the news outlets had already known about this and is already putting out in remembrance of Jesse Jackson, like CNN, CBS, all the NBC, like all the news, like everywhere you get your news, they like already had it, and I just seen it, like I wouldn't even say a couple of minutes ago. I seen it. It was earlier today. Next thing I know, I go on YouTube, and that's all that's showing. That's all that's showing. Jesse Jackson, he passed, and we gotta remember Jesse Jackson. I even seen Al Sharpton was on the news and honoring Jesse Jackson for his numerous accomplishments. I didn't watch it, but if Al Sharpton's talking, you can tend to listen to it. If I'm being honest, but yeah, he was a decent guy. It's not really much to say because I didn't know the man personally, but he it's like when you set out to do something and then you end up actually doing it, which is great. And then so he hosted both sides with Jesse Jackson on CNN from 1992 to 2000. Oh, okay. So he was on CNN until the 2000s. Okay, that was pretty cool. Jesse Jackson did not seek the presidency again. Yeah, I said he did run. but in 1990 he was elected as the district. He was elected as the district the District of Columbia's shadow senator, serving one term during the Bush and Clinton administration. And okay, you know, so he really did a lot, you know, really did a lot. And I love on this how they have party Democrats. Like he of course he was a black man growing up in the slave times. Well, not like, yeah, you're a black man growing up in the slave times. Of course you're going to be a Democrat, and everything you do from here on in is for black people. Everything you do from here on in is to first cement your legacy, and then also to help future black people so they can have it as good as the white people. Not better, I would say, not better, but as good as white people, you know. So without further ado, let's get into some of these videos.
Jesse Jackson is the figure who probably most represents the transition from civil rights politics to electoral politics for African Americans.
Jesse Jackson was born in Greenville, South Carolina on October 8, 1941.
Riding the back of a bus, having black and white water fountains, not being able to eat in a restaurant with white people. He saw those injustices, and I think it is a lesson that he never forgot his entire life.
In high school, he was class president and a football star. He went on to the Agricultural and Technical College of North Carolina.
Jackson met his wife, Lavinia Brown, while he was in college. The couple married in 1962. Jackson and his wife had 5 children together.
Jackson earned a sociology degree in 1964.
And he excelled, but there were demonstrations, there were marches, there were protests. He was caught up in that movement.
After college, Jackson went to work with Dr. Martin Luther King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
He joined him in Selma, Alabama on that horrific march and clash with the police.
He was with King when King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee at the Lorraine Motel.
After King's assassination in April 1968, Jackson split from the SCLC leadership. He moved to Chicago and in 1971 formed Operation Push.
To make sure that white store owners in the black community did their part of hiring black clerks. You're going to either hire some African Americans in your store or we're going to have a boycott. And he did that, and it was quite effective.
Jackson's efforts generated national and international headlines, and in 1979 he traveled to South Africa to speak out against apartheid.
And Jesse Jackson came to Israel to support the Palestinian cause. He starts using the same phrases he used in the United States. I am somebody. Say it with me. I am somebody. And they're repeating this in Arabic.
In 1984, he formed the Rainbow Coalition to fight for equal rights for everyone. That group later merged with Operation Push. That same year, Jackson ran for president. He came in third in the Democratic primaries. Then in 1988, he ran and lost again.
He told me, he says, I know I'll never get elected president. I know it's not possible for a black.
So he did run for presidency, yeah, like I said, twice. And I think not the third time he wasn't. He was elected the shadow senator for Columbia, right? So he actually did go for the presidency 2 times, and he lost both times. But the fact that you would even go and, you know, get that far is like an accomplishment of its own.
Man to get elected president. And of course that wasn't true.
When the returns came in 2008 and Obama was on the stage, there were shots of Jackson with tears in his eyes.
Jackson is a Baptist minister and civil rights leader who continues to fight for equality. His oldest son, Jesse Jackson Jr., served in the U.S. House of Representatives.
The friend of the downtrodden, friend of African Americans, and that's the role he's played. He is always there. When there's trouble, Jesse's going to come.
making them sound like Al Sharpton. It's like, if there's some injustice that happened, you gotta call Al Sharpton. He's gonna
You are tonight.
help you.
You can make it. We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Jesse Jackson in his prime, and that's where we will begin with the words of the civil rights leader and two-time presidential candidate, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. His family says that he died peacefully early this morning, surrounded by those he loved the most. He was 84 and had been ill for quite some time now. Jackson's public life lasted more than 50 years. He worked alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and founded the Rainbow Push Coalition, whose mission was equality for all. Jackson nearly became the Democratic nominee for president back in 1988. This morning, Dr. King's daughter posted a photo of the two men on X saying only this: both now ancestors. Beautifully said. Ed O'Keefe looks back on Jackson's life and legacy. Ed, good morning to you.
Gail, good to see you. Good morning. For decades, Jackson was a powerful and sometimes polarizing voice for change, emerging from the civil rights movement of the 1960s to become a national political figure and champion for marginalized communities across the country.
The people must unite to save humanity.
The preacher, civil rights activist, and presidential candidate was born in Greenville, South Carolina in 1941.
I was born next door to a white church. I could only attend as a janitor.
In his 20s, Jesse Jackson gained national attention as an aide to Martin Luther King Jr. and a leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
A shot cracked out from across the street, dropping him to the floor.
He was in Memphis on April 4th, 1968, when King was assassinated.
The white people's best friend is dead.
King's murder sparked tension between Jackson and other civil rights leaders as they struggled over who would lead their movement. Ultimately, Jackson launched his own organizations that later became the Rainbow Push Coalition, still advocating today for black economic and political empowerment.
We shall fight this institutional racism wherever we see it.
He also became an international hostage negotiator. In 1984, he helped win the release of an American pilot from Syria. Later, he'd broker freedom for Americans held in Cuba, Iraq, and Kosovo.
To the White House!
His activism and diplomacy buoyed Jackson's first campaign for president in 1984.
We do not just need a new president, we need a new direction. Our leaders are talking too little to too many leaders in this world.
Jackson ended up placing a stronger than expected third in the Democratic primary. In 1988, his second campaign focused on increasing government spending and U.S. support for the Third World. But he came up short once again.
We must never surrender. America will get better and better.
After campaign politics, Jackson was a talk show host and was an early supporter, but occasional critic, of Barack Obama's presidential bid. Famously photographed in Chicago's Grant Park on election night, 2008. Initially diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, Jackson revealed in 2025 he'd been battling progressive supranuclear palsy, a long-term degenerative brain condition. But his public appearances continued, more as a supporter of a new generation of activists
In the filibuster.
fighting for voting rights, fair housing, and police reform. Echoing this same message, he spent years preaching.
And nobody can stop us now. Moving on up. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
In his statement this morning, Jackson's family wrote, quote, "Our father was a servant leader, not only to our family, but to the oppressed, the voiceless, and the overlooked around the world. His unwavering belief in justice, equality, and love uplifted millions. And we ask you to honor his memory by continuing the fight for the values he lived by." The family says all public events celebrating Jackson's life will be held in his home city, Chicago. Details have not yet been released. Gail, when he ran for president back in 1984, when he spoke to that convention, he said, "My constituency is the desperate, the damned, the disinherited, the disrespected, and the despised. They are restless and seek relief. They voted in record numbers." When he ran in 1988, he said, "I'm not a perfect servant. I'm just a public servant." And he's lived a good life. Gail?
He really has. He always had a way with words and had such a distinct speaking style. Ed?
I will say, for this to be back then when like most white people didn't think you could read, it's like, where did these black people get these words from? Do you just carry around a thesaurus? Like, y'all know some big ass words, but yet majority of the black people who want to do something in life, they actually did get a chance to go to school. So they actually did learn exactly what they needed, or just learned enough so that can push them forward to get into politics, whatever they did. Because it's like, y'all be over here, it's like these words, it's like, did you carry around a thesaurus? Because it's not saying they're using big words, it's just crazy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, you can stop that. We don't need to see that right there. So Jesse Jackson, he passed, but very prolific man. So I think I'm gonna stop that right there, and get ready for tomorrow.